Hi, my name is Ken Brazil. I'm with the customer success team at Nrby, and I wanted to take a few minutes to give you an overview of the Nrby application and show you how you will be using it in your day-to-day maintenance activities out in the field. If you notice on my screen, you'll see my iPhone. We also support Android, so either Android or iPhone, mobile devices, phone, tablet, whatever it might be, will run the Nrby application. There's going to be a number of things that you're going to do through the Nrby application, most of which will revolve around maintenance activities at a node, and then also some independent activities out in the field. And I want to start out by showing you the type of work and how you'll use the Nrby application for the node maintenance activities. If you notice on the map, I actually live out in Las Vegas. So you'll see that the Las Vegas area in the map, but this, of course, would show your local area when you fire off the application. You'll see a node. The green pin, as I zoom in here, represents an optical node. And if I tap on that pin, it'll open up and it'll show me details about that node. And I go over here to the attributes tab at the top, and it'll tell me things like what the node name is, what the official node name is, what the labeled name is, what type of node, and the physical location. This information will all be preloaded onto the map so that you don't have to worry about putting a node on the map, just finding the one. If you know the node name, in this case, Ken Test 1, if I back out of this using the X in the upper corner there, I'm going to go back to my map. I can search my map by typing in the name at the top. I go up to the search bar and I can say Ken Test 1. And of course, there's only one node on the map, so it's just going to show me that one node. But if there were more than one node, if I was looking at a fairly zoomed out view and I saw, say, maybe 10 or 20 nodes, I could type in that node name and find it, or a part of the node name, and it's going to reduce the number of pins on the map that you see down to a more manageable number. I could also filter. So if there's other things on the map, let me cancel that. There may be other pins on the map as other routine maintenance jobs like drop management or things like construction related to a plant, so forth, show up on the map. If you start to see too many things on the map and you don't want to see as many at one time, you can filter as well. So I can go into the filter, the three little bars, the hamburger, the pie, whatever you want to call it there in the upper right, and I can filter that down to where I only see locate completed. So I'm going to hit apply, and you notice my node pin dropped off the map because it's not within that filter criteria. I'm going to go back up and say cancel, and my node should show back up. So I may not have canceled that. Let me undo that and hit apply, and there my node shows back up. You'll also notice a few items at the bottom. This is the iOS version. They're going to be different in the Android version, but there's the map icon on the left, which just takes you back to the map. There's the little bell, which will take you to notifications. So during the day, you may get a job assigned to you, and you'll get a notice that'll pop up on the screen, as well as you'll see the number of assignments or the number of things passed over to you that you need notification on in the little bell. And if you come to that screen, they will be listed here. There's also the little gear. This is where you'd go to set some preferences. Things like, what is the map settings? What is a single tap on a cluster of pins? And when I say a cluster of pins, as you zoom out, the number of pins shown reduce and will turn into a cluster, and it'll have a number of, we'll say like 10. That'll represent 10 pins within that general area. If I single tap on that cluster of pins, it's going to zoom into the area for me and open it up. If I long press on that cluster of pins, it's going to show me a list view at the bottom, and I can change those here under preferences of what the behavior is. Clear that and go back single tap. So you can see you can change that. The default is what's set here. You can also turn clustering off. So if you never want it to cluster and you just want to see a whole bunch of pins on the map, you can turn that off. The last setting there is the, let's go back to through the preferences. I want to show you one other thing here. About halfway down, or well, not quite halfway down, there's the report a problem. If you have a problem using the app, not a problem related to like a technical issue that you're trying to resolve out in the field, that's normal work related, but a problem actually using the Nrby app, The best way to report that is to come in here to the app and hit report a problem. And what it does is it'll generate an email to us. So you start typing the description of the problem at the top, and I'm just going to say, this is a test from Ken, because our engineering team is going to get this. I'm just going to say, please ignore, and I'm going to say done. And you notice it'll let you attach things if you have some photos that are related to the technical application issue you're having. In other words, you're trying to upload a photo, but it's failing for whatever reason, if you want to attach it. And then down at the bottom on the right, it's attach application data. I typically turn that on because it provides the engineering team more information. And then I would just hit send. I won't do this now. I won't bother our engineering team. But if you hit send, it's going to send an email off to our engineering team and to the customer success team so that we all see it. And then we can actually look at what was going on within the application at the time you had the problem and help resolve it. So again, if you're having application-related problems, it's not running right, it's not doing something right for you, that's the best way to report a problem to us. So let's go back to the map. And one more thing, the little nearby icon in the lower right brings you to another screen to where you can look at the status of things. Invite a peer. If you have a peer that needs to get on the mobile app, you can invite them directly, or you can go to your manager and they can do it. You can watch pins. If you want to watch the status of a pin that you're working on, so let's go back to the map here, and I'm going to click and open that node icon, that node pin. I can go up here to the little 3 dots on iOS, and I can say, watch this smart pin. So I just clicked on that. So let's go back to the map. Let's hit the little X. Let me go back to that icon, the nearby icon in the lower right, and click watched. And you notice that it's showing that pin is now being watched. What'll happen now is anytime a change happens on that pin, the status changes, someone enters something new, you will get a notification that something changed. So if you're interested in knowing, did this get followed up on, whatever the issue is, did it get resolved, you can watch that pin and it'll notify you. If you're tired of watching it for whatever reason, you don't need to anymore, you can just come to this list, swipe it away to the left and say unwatch, and I'm no longer going to watch that pin. The other thing you can do here under uploads, it will show you uploads that are occurring. So if you take a photo when it's asked of you to take a photo, it will upload to the servers, and this will show you the status. One thing to note that, we do rely on internet connectivity. So if you're in an area that has poor cell service, no Wi-Fi available to you, and you drop a new pin and you have some pictures, they may not upload right away, and you're going to see that they're not uploading over here in this uploads queue. When you get back into good cell service, if it tells you, hey, that pin didn't complete, then you can, when you get back into good cell service or on Wi-Fi, you can go into your uploads and check to make sure everything uploaded. And if it didn't, you can go ahead and kick it off and tell it to re-upload. So that's what the upload queue is for. So let's go all the way back over here to the map, and let's see how we actually start some work on the map. So let's say we're going to do something that's node related. So I'm going to open that node. I found the node I want. I've driven up to it. I'm actually at the node. I open it on the map, and you notice that there are a number of tabs across the top. The first one is tasks. Everything that we do at that node is referred to as a task, and you notice there are no tasks here. So I'm going to open a new task by hitting the plus button at the bottom, and it's going to open a screen of things that I can do, more icons that I can put on the map related to a task happening at that particular node. If someone assigned me a task, the task would already show up in that list. So if someone had assigned me a task they put on the map, it's going to show up under this list here. Of course, we don't have any at the moment. So I'm going to hit plus, and let's just pick one. Let's say we're going to do a maintenance task. I'm going to pick the MT for maintenance, and you notice it brings up a form for me. And at the very top, it pre-populated the node name. We do not have to worry about populating that because it carries it over so that we keep the correct spelling and we make sure that this task is associated with the right node. First thing required for me is a job number. So you would enter your job number, whatever format you guys use. Then there's some drop downs that have to be picked. And if you notice, some of these And I'm looking to see if any of them on this one, oh, they don't. They don't have the little asterisk after the title, which means it would be required to drop the pin on the map. The first thing I'm going to do is once I'm in there and I tap that and I put my job number in, I could maybe answer a couple of these, but maybe I need to do some work now before I answer them. So I'm just going to say create, and that's going to put that pin on the map. You notice it told me it put the pin on the map by the little notice at the top, and now it shows up in the list. And if I hit the X to go back to the map, you notice I now have 2 pins on the map. And here's where that clustering comes into play. If you notice, if I zoom in on this, if I get down far enough, it might separate those. There it did. There's those 2 pins. I'm not actually at the spot I put the note on the map, just for testing purposes. So it drops that pin, that new maintenance pin, where I'm physically located. Everything you do on the mobile app, when you drop a new pin on the map, it'll do it at the location your phone is at. That's where your little blue dot is, of course. But remember we talked about clustering? If I short tap, it opens up that cluster and shows me both of them. If I go back and make those cluster again, if I long tap, it brings me up a list at the bottom. So if I have 4 or 5 pins in that cluster, I can long tap and I'll see a list of them, and I can say, okay, I want to go work on that maintenance pin. So I've done some work on the maintenance. I've gone out, I've climbed up to the node, whatever I need to do, and I want to open that pin back up, and I want to fill in the rest of the information about what I did in the job. I can go to the 3 little tabs, the 3 little dots, and say I want to edit, I want to update description and attributes. And now I can go down and finish filling this out. Levels match plant design. No, they don't. Maintenance resolution. What did we do here? I'm going to just scroll through this. Replace node receiver. That was the reason. That was what I had to do to fix the problem. Did you have to enter a customer's home? No. Any comments? Is there anything you want to put in their comments about the work you've done? I'll just put none. I think you can leave that blank. It's an optional field, so you don't have to actually put anything into it. And then the last 2 things on all of the work that you do, it's going to ask you how much time did you spend on site doing the task. First one is hours. I'm going to say 1 hour. And then I'm going to say for the second one, we'll say 20 minutes. Now, if you get out to the site because you're doing this maintenance work, someone assigned it to you, or you were told to go do maintenance work and you put the pin on the map yourself for it. If you found that this was an unnecessary truck roll, in other words, you got there and there's nothing wrong, then at the bottom you notice there's a drop down or expandable menu that says was maintenance truck roll unnecessary. You would click the little box. That's going to expand it for you, and you're going to fill out the rest of this. Valid PM truck roll, no. Maybe the work was done by a contractor, and for whatever reason they messed it up, or they created a temporary issue that caused you to go out, but there really is no issue. Your management wants to know who the contractor was or what the FST number was. So I'm just going to type in contractor. I don't know the names of your contractors, so we'll just do that. Unnecessary PM truck roll, briefly describe issue. None found. If I can type today, none found. And then if it makes sense to take a photo of whatever caused the unnecessary truck roll, I can click the little plus, and this is going to take me to either take a camera picture, or I can do all photos. So if I take a picture with my camera, of course it's going to ask you the first time to take a picture. I'm going to use that photo, and now what I've done is I've attached a photo to this pin. And you can attach as many photos as you deem necessary. If it doesn't make sense, then don't attach any photos. If it makes sense to attach some, go ahead and do it. That is a optional field. So we're all done. We filled everything in. I'm going to hit save. I want to save the information that I've entered. Anytime during the process that you want to stop, you need to go do something else, you need to take a phone call, you can hit save and save the information you've entered. Once everything's done and you're all done, you filled out everything you have here and you're ready to leave the site, then what you want to do is come back into the pin. If you've closed it out for whatever reason, just come back in and tap on it and reopen it. Then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to hit work complete. Work complete means that I've done all my work, I've entered everything in. I'm going to just go ahead and hit that, and it'll ask you to be sure. If you have not filled out something that's required, it will prompt you at that point and tell you you need to fill in some additional fields. The other thing you'll notice is now on the map, it changed from that MT pin to a QA pin. And where'd we go there? And if I go back over and open up my node, come on, node, open up for me. Didn't get a good tap on it. There it goes. I'll open that back up. You notice now in the task list, there's a supervisor approval. Certain tasks that you do are going to require your supervisor to approve them before they disappear off the map. That way they can say, oh, wait a minute, no, I've got some additional information that you need to know about that relates to this problem, and it might make you do something different on the fix. So your supervisor can now go in and basically open that up and do the approval. They can review it. If they find that there's something's not quite right, they have additional something they want you to do, they can assign that back to you, and then you'll see the pin show up back in your assignment queue. When they're all done with it, they'll approve it and it'll disappear off the map. The other thing that's really nice is that for this node, when you pull up on the site or on the node, you might want to know, well, what else has been done to this and what's the history of this node? If you go into the application and on iOS you hit those 3 dots, on Android I think it's the little 3 bars, I can go to what's called the timeline. You see there it says view timeline. I can tap that view timeline and it's going to give me a complete history of all the work that's been done at this node. And you'll notice on this node, because I'm using it for testing and for doing this video for you, there's a lot of jobs. I've been out there testing all the different types of pins. But I can go back and say, who was the last person on site? Oh, looks like there was a moose pin, a modem out of spec pin. And just by looking at it there, you can see that Ken, that's me, plus Eagle, this is my login for your site. It would typically just be a normal email address there for you guys. But I can tap on that moose pin and I can bring it up and I can go see what was done on that pin. I can see, what they found when they rolled up on it, what the job number was, the AMP number, what the issue was, how many modems did they fix by resolving this issue, right on down the line. What customers were affected. So I didn't put in a full address. I just used some short bits of information to be able to enter it. But that timeline, view timeline, is available for any node that you pull up on so that you as a technician can go back and easily see who was the last person to do the work there, what work was done. Maybe you start to see a pattern. There's a lot of active rebalancing going on, or there's a lot of node optimizations or noise pins, whatever it might be. You can start to detect patterns that will also be reporting up to your supervisors and managers about, that they can see, which nodes are having reoccurring problems so that you can go back and say, maybe we need to replace this node, instead of keep sending people out to do temporary fixes. But the timeline's really nice. I can pick any one of those on the timeline. Same thing on Android, and see all the information, see who did it, when it was done, and what information they entered. So that's how I would do a fixed task on a node. Again, open the node up off the map. I either have a assignment already that I'm just going to tap on and it's going to open it for me, or if I want to drop a new task pin, I hit the plus at the bottom, pick the task out of here. Let's go in and let's just do another one. Let's do a noise pin. Again, pre-populated the first thing, the AMP number that we're going to work on. We'll just do 1, 2, 3. The type of noise, ingress. I've put that in. I want to create the pin now so it's on the map so people know that I'm working on it and that I'm doing some work there, and I can come back now that I'm ready to get up to that node or do whatever I need to do. Let me just go back over, open that noise pin back up, and start actually filling things out. I will go in and see update. What was the resolution? Reseated and active. Comments. I'm just going to leave that blank because it's not a required field. If the issue is coming from a customer premise, what's the address? Did you have to enter the customer home? No. And then again, I mentioned those on-site times. I spent 2 hours and just 2 hours on that. I'm going to say save. Save that pen. And I can go back. It's on the map. I can go back out there and do my long tap. I'm going to open that optical node up. And I can go see that the task is under the nodes. There's that previous supervisor one's not been cleared yet. and there's that new noise pin. I'm all done with my work, so I'm ready to roll away from the node and go on to another job. I'll go in here, work complete it, hit work complete. Again, if there's something you missed that needed to be filled out, it would prompt you, and you notice that it changed to another supervisor approval. Your supervisors will automatically get notified when that happens, so you don't need to call and tell them, hey, I finished the job. They're going to get notified. They're going to get an email. They're going to see an alert pop up so that they know they need to go and approve it. But for you as a technician out doing the work, you're done, and it's ready to go. So the other type of pin that you might put on the map is something not related to a node. And very easy to do that. Very similar process, is just that we're not starting from within that node pin. We're just going to start at the map view. I want to be at the location so that we register the right location. And I'm going to hit the blue plus at the bottom. And there are a few things in here that you can do that are not part of an actual node. So if you're doing locates, you could go in and you can drop a locate pin. You put the locate ticket number in. Is it an emergency? What's the outcome? Let's just go ahead and do that. We'll just call it ticket ABC1. Is this an emergency locate? No, it's not. What's the outcome? You marked it with paint and flags. Large project by default, no. And I spent basically an hour on it. Done. Create that. And you now have a locate pin on the map. So that was a job that's not related to a node. It's just an independent job that I just put on the map. So I'll go ahead and open that back up. We'll go ahead and cancel it. We'll say, okay, everything's done. I'm going to work complete it, and I'm going to walk away. Notice here the message that we got: your role does not permit you to perform this action. Certain pin types, and this happens to be one of them, you're not allowed to delete off the map. So for a locate, for instance, you're just going to create it and leave it on the map when you're all done, and you're going to walk away. What will happen is that locate will self-delete after the prescribed amount of time that's been set. So if you get this message, that basically means you're not allowed to work complete it, which means you don't need to worry about it. Just fill in all the appropriate information and go ahead and move on to your next job site. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to back out of that. I'm done. I'm going to walk away and go do my next job. I did that locate. Other example of an independent non-node related job, let's just look. Someone might have cleared a locate. They went and picked up the flags. Everything's good. Maybe you're just doing some generic work items. There's a few things. You're in the office. You're doing some training. So we're basically just, they want to basically see, okay, what are you doing this morning? Maybe you're in a training class. They want you to drop a training pin, fill out some basic information, Nrby balance class. How long are you going to be on site? You're going to be there all day. 8 hours. It's an all-day class. Done. Create. Now, if somebody wants to know where you're located, they can basically search for that pin and be able to find that, oh, okay, yeah, Bob's over there. He's at the rebalancing class today. And I'll just do long tap because I have that locate pin sitting here at my location too. And those also, I believe, and let's go find out here. I think if I work complete that, is it going to let me, or I think it will let me. Yeah, it'll actually clear that off. So at the end of the day, you're done with your class. You could clear that pin out. Anything you delete off the map goes into the historical database. So it's not lost. People can go back. Your supervisor can still go back and see what jobs you've done and so on, and actually look at the different jobs. So we track everything in terms of the pins, even when they get dropped off the map. Other things that are just generic items, vehicle maintenance. You've got to take your vehicle in to do some maintenance, or maybe you're in a virtual meeting and for a few hours, you can put that in there. The other one that you're probably going to be asked to start doing is I don't know if it's going to be monthly or how often, but a vehicle inspection, which is the kind of the wheel with the thumbs up, where you're going to basically do a vehicle inspection so that they're adhering, and you guys are adhering to all the DOT laws. So basically a form you'd fill out that's going to ask you different things about your vehicle. Going to ask you to walk around, do some things, check some things, validate things are working right, and you would just drop it and put it on the map. Let's see what else we have. I think that's about it. If we go back one level, there are some node management items that are not necessarily related to a node, just different things like you're going to do some fiber splicing, or maybe there's a tap level issue, coax splicing. Again, the same process. You would just pick the pin, open it up, and you're going to fill out whatever it's being asked of you to fill out. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of how to use the Nrby application. We may be providing some additional videos, but this is just kind of a generic overview to help get you guys off the ground and running with the application. So I appreciate your time and look forward to working with you. Thanks.